Hi, this is Margo. This is Thursday evening, July 4th, 2019, 7:56 p.m. Pacific Time, United States of America. I'm getting a late start. I've been watching these earthquakes all day, and it's pretty unbelievable, pretty mind-blowing what's going on in Southern California. And I imagine most people have heard about what's going on, but I'll bet most people didn't know that there have been 443 earthquakes down here in the Searles Valley area in Southern California in the last 24 hours. And they're still coming in. So this is the big news of the day. But besides that, and we'll just watch that and we'll look at that in a minute. We'll come back. Right now, at this point in time, there are 444 in the viewing area. Now, Kobuk Junction is right up here. There's only been one earthquake of 0.7 at Kobuk Junction, but there have been all these others down here in Searles Valley and Ridgecrest. And so we're going to look at that in more detail in a little bit. They just keep rolling in. I keep thinking they're going to stop, and then they're just rolling in. And at around noontime today, there were 94 or 96 or something like that, and I posted that. And here we are at 445 now, and I don't know what's going on, and frankly I don't think anybody knows. So but before we get to that, let's look at Oroville. This is earthquake, and this is just an earthquake report tonight. I'm not going to do a whole bunch of extra climate news or anything like that, because with 600 and something earthquakes to look at, that's going to take up the whole time. And this is Independence Day for the United States, so anyway, we'll see what happens. And the lake level at Oroville is still receding. It's going down. At 7 o'clock this evening, it was 892.75 feet, and the inflow at 7 o'clock was 6974 CFS, that's cubic feet per second, and the outflow was 7454. Now, it's kind of unusual to see how the inflow at noon went down to under 1,000 CFS. I don't know how that can happen. You know, I am not aware of them being able to control the inflow, but it certainly looks like they might have the ability to do that, because we've seen it a couple of times where it'll just hop down for one or two readings and then it'll come back up. So I have no clue. So we're going to start with over here on Volcano Discovery. I'll refresh this. This is reporting on the 6.4 earthquake at Ridgecrest, California. Ridgecrest, Searles Valley, same thing. And it originally came in at a 6.6. And it came in at 10:30 this morning Pacific time, and it was 10.7 kilometers deep, and that's okay, so 10.7 kilometers deep, and the magnitude was 6.4. Nearest volcano, Kobuk, and it was equivalent to 3.8 atomic bombs. And then all these aftershocks have come in, 400 and something. And here are the I felt it reports, and here are pictures. Here's infrastructure damage. Here's a big crack across the road. I don't know what road that is. And here's things that fell over in this person's house. It looks like shelves fell over. This says this was from Ridgecrest, 17 kilometers southwest from the epicenter. They felt very strong shaking. Large shelving units toppled, lots of broken glass, and TVs fell. So this is what happened there. Here's pictures from Facebook from the Dollar General store in Ridgecrest. So it looks like items just fell off of the shelves and it's just a huge mess there. It was felt in Las Vegas. Here's Caesar's Palace in Las Vegas. This person says weak shaking. I was at Las Vegas Caesar's Palace and felt it at the pool. It felt like a rowing. I was in my lounge chair and I felt dizzy. I was like weird. Yeah, I mean you lose your sense of center because we're connected to the center of the earth, and then when the earth starts shaking like that, we lose that connection. It was felt in Pahrump. There are a lot of reports from Vegas and Pahrump, Nevada. Here's Garden Grove, California, 235 kilometers south. The slight shaking woke me up and continued for a good 10 seconds or so. I was inside with the fan running, so I didn't hear the rumbling. Here was in Las Vegas, moderate shaking, Las Vegas. I was trying to sit down at the table, and it kept going back and forth away from me. Then I thought I must be fainting, trying to get set down, and asked Robbie, she was visiting, if she felt that. You can actually see the mobile home move back and forth, and Robbie said yes she did. You felt that? I thought it was just me, and I knew for sure it was an earthquake, and it continued swaying about 40 seconds. Here's someone was shopping at Trader Joe's in Los Angeles and felt the floor move and saw hanging packages of beef jerky swaying. Here was in Henderson, Nevada. I was sitting in my car and I thought the wind was shaking the car, but there was no wind. It lasted approximately 15 seconds. When I saw there was no wind, I looked in my mirrors to see if someone was shaking the car. Anyway, it goes on and on. Thousands of reports have come in. Let's see if there are any more pictures that we can see from here. Here's some more. Here's something. Looks like a candle holder or something that fell over. And I can't tell what they're showing there. Just saw Phoenix listed. Here it is, Phoenix, Arizona. Very weak shaking. My dog and I were outside and she was acting strange just before I heard a strange noise, most likely the quake. I live in Reno and I didn't feel or experience anything. Okay, so there's that. There was also not to just be focused on that, there was also a 6.2 that came in after I did my report last night off the coast of Canada, near Bella Bella, Canada, and this came in at 9:30 last night Pacific time, and I did a special update and put that for my members on Subscribestar, but it was right on the north end of this Juan de Fuca plate. And then there's been a lot of activity coming down this line. I showed this yesterday. We had like 3 or 4 earthquakes on this Juan de Fuca plate down here, and so things are moving. We're seeing a lot of tremors up and down this west coast, and those happen before the earthquakes happen. And we've got this Cascadia Subduction zone where one plate is slipping and moving under another, and that's what's happening here. And so we could see some huge activity. And so what we've got is 169 earthquakes that are 2.5 magnitude or higher, and most of them are right down here at Searles Valley and Ridgecrest. It's unbelievable just to see this, and you know, I don't know if really is just like opening up there. It sounds like it is. I don't know. And then here's some articles from the Los Angeles Times, full coverage, 6.4 July 4th Southern California earthquake, and it's all their articles listed. 6.4 magnitude earthquake struck Southern California on Thursday, the largest trembler to hit the region in nearly 2 decades. Here's, I'll just read some titles. Earthquake emergency declared as Ridgecrest assesses the damage. Now, as far as I know, there weren't any casualties. While the quake rattled large swath of the region, Ridgecrest and other Kern County communities were the hardest hit. So let's click on this one and see what it's going to show us. Here's someone in a wheelchair, it looks like. These are residents from the Ridgecrest Hospital. While the quake rattled a large swath of the region, Ridgecrest and other Kern County communities were the hardest hit. There were several fires and damage to some stores. A few people suffered moderate injuries. Ridgecrest Mayor Peggy Breeden signed a proclamation declaring a state of emergency Thursday afternoon. Because we've had over 87 aftershocks of this, we don't know what's going to happen. Well, and now they've had, how many? 453. So at that time it was 87. So I'd say it's a state of emergency. This was near the China Lake naval testing site. Here's Google Maps, and I've here's the area where the earthquakes are happening. Ridgecrest is down here to the southeast, and here's China Lake. And that's a top secret facility. Well, China Lake Acres. Okay, so here's the Naval Air Weapons Station, China Lake. This is a top secret facility that's in the middle of the desert in the mountains, and they do weapons testing out here. So is this connected? I don't know, but it's still shaking and it's not stopping. Is there something underground there that they're doing? I don't know. I mean, there are a lot of possibilities. And then there's a lot of volcanoes in the area. Over here is this really ugly. It looks like something like a mining operation or something like this. I don't know what this is, but that's a huge thing over there. It's a bunch of old volcanoes too, and so it could be waking things up for all we know. But this is, if we zoom in, this is what it looks like. And there are also geothermal pumping operations nearby there, where they're drilling and pumping water into the volcano and then getting heat back out. So there's that. They said, okay, here's a thing. Mojave Air Commander Lieutenant John Williams of the California Highway Patrol said they were assisting officers with repairing a crack across Highway 178 and clearing debris and large boulders that fell onto US 395. The work was completed in about an hour. Other than that, we checked every overcrossing and every undercrossing on every main highway around Ridgecrest, and there's no other problems or concerns. Well, there might be concerns now. That was at 5:40 p.m. Here's someone said it was the scare of my life when the ground began shaking in Ridgecrest. And here's pictures from, looks like the Dollar Tree. Here's the people in the hospital. Here's a picture of a trailer where it looks like the porch fell, and here's the roof or the awning that was over the porch, and that's fallen. Expect more earthquakes, possibly even stronger ones. Why LA's early warning system didn't send an alert before the magnitude 6.4 quake. Let's read this one. Los Angeles residents were asking that question after Thursday's earthquake was felt throughout Southern California when they didn't get an early warning. Did it fail? Not quite. The Shake Alert LA smartphone app was only designed to alert users of cell phones physically located in Los Angeles County if there was a decent chance of destruction, with the warning system forecasting at least light shaking or level 4 on the modified Mercalli intensity scale. What was actually felt Thursday in Los Angeles County, while seemingly scary, was actually not that bad. It was forecast by the earthquake early warning system as being shaking too weak to cause significant damage in Los Angeles County. This was from Rob Graves from the USGS. He's a geophysicist. So there you go. Strongest earthquake in years. Damage reported. Let's see what kind of damage they reported.
That was not small.
You see the water in the pool.
It's just rocking, like swaying. You can hear everything creaking.
There's fire. That guy's house is burning up. So there's that.
So, sir, tell us what happened this morning and how.
As a result of the earthquake, out of abundance of caution for our patient safety, we are in an orderly process of evacuating the hospital. We are still operating the emergency room for anyone that's injured in our community, but we are transferring our patients to other hospitals. We do have some seismic engineers coming in to double check our building to make sure that it is safe. Right now it appears to be mainly some broken pipes, but again, we're most concerned about our patients and thought in the interest of caution that we would evacuate our patients and stay out of the building pending if there's any more aftershocks.
We were here at our house today and got a little bit of a shake. My grandson was out here on the porch and my wife grabbed him, tossed him to his dad, and then when she did that, our trailer came down and smashed her leg. Severed her leg open. She had to get a bunch of stitches and stuff. She was in the hospital. But yeah, our place is pretty much destroyed. As you can see, it's pretty bad. I mean, it's unlivable. My wife got hurt. I grabbed a shirt. I wrapped it around her leg. Me and my stepdad, we drug her all the way across the porch, down the steps, and into the van and took her to the hospital.
And then is she okay now?
She's okay now. She's okay now. I mean, it was just a flesh wound, but I mean, it peeled her whole, her whole shin was, that's pretty bad. She's lucky to still have a leg.
Durian season is in full swing, and Singaporeans have been waiting.
Okay, so there you have it from the Los Angeles Times on that. Hold on, I'll be right back. Alright, so let's get to this earthquake report now. So we're showing 702 earthquakes worldwide now. Of those, 170 are 2.5 magnitude or higher. So, we've got some in Alaska that are about to come off the map. So let's start up here in Alaska. The last 24 hours. We've got 12 that are 2.5 magnitude or higher. This one's coming off the map. This 2.6 at Cantwell came in at 8:21 last night. Well, actually, Yeah. And so here's 4.3 at Craig, 3.3 Gulf of Alaska, 3.6 Kodiak, 4.5 Chernabura Island, 2.8 Larsen Bay, 2.7 Old Iliamna, 2.9 Redoubt Volcano, 2.8 Talkeetna, 2.5 Arctic Village, and a 2.5 Koktovik. So I'm gonna go away from that, and let's go up to Alaska with all magnitudes and see how many they've had. I'm trying not to get this 6.2, but I can't. So without that 6.2, it's 113 of all magnitudes. So we're seeing a line coming up through this Cook Inlet all along the ridge here where all these volcanoes are, and most of them are dormant, but I'm thinking that they could be coming back to life. We're seeing a bunch up in this little armpit at Yakutat, and then here's Kobuk, and here's Koktovik. And so let's zoom into Kobuk first. We're seeing 28 here today. So these are all under 2.5 magnitude. These are ones, like here's some high ones and a 2, 1.9s and 2s and stuff. So 28, that's a high number. And here up in the Koktovik region, here are 24. We showed, I can't remember how many we showed here last night, but we got 24 here today. Most of these are 2s. Here's 2.5, 2.4, 2s and under 2.3. So these aren't huge, but it's still showing a lot of shaking, a lot of movement. So most of these up in Alaska are not that big. I already, we saw over here the ones that were 2.5 and higher. We saw a few, like this 4.5, 3.6, 3.6. I mean, those aren't huge, but they're definitely picking up in size of 4.3 and so on. Anchorage is pretty quiet today. So, and then when we come down this curve here, we've got several in that little area, and then here's a 4.3 in Craig, and this is off the coast of British Columbia, Canada. And it's on this red line, and then here was that 6.2 right at the north end of the Juan de Fuca plate. This came in at 9:30 last night. So it's all connected. So let's come on around at the other end of this Aleutian Island chain. We had another 4.2 off the coast of Kamchatka, Russia at 12:57 this afternoon. And then right down here in the Kuril Islands was a 4.5 at 4:42 this morning, 118 kilometers deep. Now this is not too far from the Ridgecrest volcano that exploded June 21st and 22nd. It's right up here. I think it's right along here somewhere is where that was. So this could be connected to that too. Then coming on down, not too many over here. 4.6 at Oroville, Indonesia. 5.0 near Tyrone, Papua New Guinea. This is in the ocean, just off the coast. This came in at 12:22 this afternoon. And then here's a 5.0 at Hihifo, Tonga at 7:08 this evening. Again in the ocean. When they're in the ocean like that, they don't really do damage. I mean, unless it's going to make a tsunami, and those didn't. And the water buffers it. Then over here was a 4.6 near Teplo-Clyochinka, Kyrgyzstan at 7:12 this evening. Then 4.6 near Jarm, Afghanistan. This came in at 9:20 last night. I think there was another one there yesterday. And then there are two here in Iran. A 4.2 at 11:24 last night. And then 3 minutes later was a 4.7 at 11:27 last night. These were both at Damgan, Iran. Coming on down to South America was a 4.4 near Londres, Argentina at 3:45 this afternoon, 162 kilometers deep. 4.5 near Abra Pampa, Argentina at 2:01 this morning, 250 kilometers deep. That was pretty deep. And then 4.9 near Celica, Ecuador at 11:21 this morning, 75 kilometers deep. Now it looks like that was actually, no, it was in Ecuador, just on the border between Ecuador and Peru. So those are the international earthquakes plus Alaska. See, they're still coming in. Look at all these red dots up here. 2.0, 2.3 coming in at Koktovik. Now let's go to Hawaii. And we're seeing 18 here today. Here's a 2.0 near Honau now Napupu, and that's on the flank of Mauna Loa. Here's a 1.5 at Mauna Loa. Here's a 1.9 Pahala, 2.3 Pahala, 1.9. This is in between Kilauea and Mauna Loa. Now here's Kilauea. Now look at all of these here today. All here. We've got 13. Now here's the Kilauea crater. and so these are on the flank, so it almost looks like this side of the volcano might start sliding off again or collapsing. I don't know. So we're going to call these off. Here's a 3.8. That's getting up there. This came in at 8:35 last night. And then a 3.4 at 8:48 last night. 1.5, 1.6, 1.6, 1.6, 1.6, 0.8, 1.6, 1.9 at a minus 0.2 kilometer depth. That's up in the crater there. 1.8, 1.7, and a 1.8. So a lot of activity there. Lots of activity. 18 total. Now let's move on across to the Caribbean. We're seeing 13 here today. I'll call these off. 1.3, 1.8, 2.5, 3.0, 2.0, 1.5, 1.9, 1.9, 2.3, and 1.3, 2.7, 2.6, 1.4. So some of those we're getting on up there. Not big enough to do damage, but it's definitely showing movement. Right there on Puerto Rico. Okay, let's come down to the lower 48 in the United States. We've got, now we're up to 714 earthquakes worldwide. This is how fast these aftershocks are coming in. I don't know what's happening, but I'm kind of flipping out. $560. So we're going to start down here. Here's in the New Madrid hazard zone, a 2.2 near Tiptonville, Tennessee. Then here in Oklahoma, a 2.0 at Cushing. Then coming on over, Arizona's clear. Utah has one, a 1.3 at Mapleton. Yellowstone has one today, a 1.9 at Lincoln. And then up here in the Pacific Northwest, we've got between Oregon and Washington, we've got 4 here today. We've got a 1.3 at Poolsbo, Washington, 0.8 at Brush Prairie, a 1.2 Ellensburg, and a 1.9 at Langford, Canada. That's on that Vancouver Island. So if we look at the tremor map for yesterday, that's our most recent data. We're seeing 157 tremors, and we're seeing them down here on this kind of southern part of the Vancouver Island. And see, then here was an earthquake. So all these tremors yesterday were here, and then here's an earthquake. And then we're seeing some to the southwest of Olympia, and then to the west of Medford, Oregon. Medford's down here. Olympia is, well, here's Mount St. Helens. There's Mount Rainier. Olympia is a little bit farther north than where we were looking. So it was it was up here. So the tremors are what happen before you have an earthquake. They're called harmonic tremors, and the ground starts shaking, and they measure these tremors, and it gives you an indication of the movement that's happening. Like if you have plates that are moving or things that are sliding. Okay, coming down into Northern California, here's a 1.5 at Brook Trails. And then over here in Nevada, here's a 1.3 near Pyramid Lake. That came in at 8:05 this morning. Here's a 1.8 near Fallon. There's a 0.9 near Hawthorne. And Nevada is pretty quiet. So with all the earthquakes going on in Southern California, that's probably releasing a lot of pressure. So that's probably why we're not seeing that many here in Nevada. And we're not seeing any explosions or quarry blasts today because it is 4th of July, Independence Day holiday for us here in the United States. And so this is one of those days where nobody's working. Unless you're a government worker and you know you're working in security, or you got to be there to help run the facility. But generally everybody's off. So there's no blasting or construction or anything like that today. Here we're seeing 7 in southern Nevada today, and they're very small. The largest is this 1.4 at Pioche. Okay, now let's get back over and finish up California. Here's a 2.4 at Bridgeport, 0.9 at Mammoth Lakes, and a 1.3 at Round Valley. So that's gone way down. Let's come back to this area, the Searles Valley area. Let's come up, let's look at the geysers next. We're seeing 27 at the geysers here today. And these are ones and under, like 1.5 was the highest. And then coming on down, following this the San Andreas fault line down, here's a 1.3 at Gilroy, 1.6 Tres Pinos, 1.5 and 1.7 at Pinnacles. We've got 3 south of at Grapevine. We had a big cluster here yesterday. Here's a 1.2, 2.9, and a 1.9 still going on there. Oh, I spoke too soon. Here's a quarry blast to 1.5 near Boron. They're the only ones that are blasting today. Here in Baja, Mexico, we've got a 3.5 near Alberto, Oviedo, Mota. So in Southern California, not counting Ridgecrest, we're seeing 21 here today. So they're just peppered around. So that's a low number. So here's a cluster at Anza. These are ones and under. So we're seeing small ones just still kind of happening here. Here's Glen Avon, 3, and Fontana. So let's come on back up here and kind of see. So it's this whole region, and they're starting to spread out now, it looks like. I wonder if an old volcano is coming back to life here or something with these going on like this. Now we're up to 485 in this region. And 721 earthquakes worldwide. So these are the 2.5 magnitude or higher, and there's 140 here. So it all began. Now we've been seeing 1 or 2 here, and this is considered near Coso Junction. And Coso is an old volcano, so we have been seeing 1 or 2 here, but nothing like this. This is insane. So this all started today at 10:02 this morning with a 4.0 and then a 2.5 at 10:09, and then at 10:33 there was this 6.4, and it was a 10.7 kilometers depth. And it hasn't stopped. And then 2 minutes later was a 4.5. 2 minutes later, 3.0. 30 seconds later, 3.9. 2 minutes later, 4.0. Then, I mean, it's just sometimes it's just every few seconds, 3.8, 4.1, 3.3, 3.6, 3.9, 3.4. So, and it's been going like this all day long. And these are not nothing. I mean, these are not little tiny earthquakes. These are in the 2s and 3s and 4s range. Here's another 4.1, 3.9. I mean, this is nothing to sneeze at. 4.6. Here's a 4.3. Here's a 4.6, and so on. So if we change our setting, if we change, let's do 7 days, 4.5 magnitudes. So this is in the last 7 days, 4.5 magnitude or higher, and this is all from today. So 6.4, 4.5, 4.6, 4.6, 4.5, and 4.5. And that last 4.5 happened at 3:12 this afternoon. And then if we go back to 2.5 magnitude or higher today, it's 140. They're still coming in. Here's 8:25 tonight. You can see all these red dots, those are the new ones. And here's the all magnitudes. Now we're up to 488 and 724 earthquakes worldwide. I feel like I need to just set it on live stream and just leave it on so we can watch it, see what's happening here. This is insane. Anyway, that's my earthquake report for today. So, these are signs. These are more signs of the end times. I'm certain of it. And we all need to prepare, but the main way we need to prepare is spiritually, to be ready to leave the planet. And it's going to happen real soon for a lot of people. Real soon. Sooner for some than for others. And I recommend everyone get your spiritual house in order so you're ready to go. So that you're ready. So, I'm going to sign off for now, and I'll keep an eye on all of this. Oh, and by the way, last night I did my earthquake report, and I uploaded it to YouTube, and it took 3 hours to process it. And after 2 hours of sitting there saying it was still processing and it's at 0%, I decided to upload it to my Vimeo account and then link it over and post it on my Subscribestar page. So that's what I did. And then I put a post on YouTube on the community and said that my YouTube video was still processing, and so I uploaded the earthquake report on Vimeo, and people could come over and watch it on my Subscribestar page. And here it is. Here's my report from last night, and then after I got everything uploaded and notified everybody, then it finally was processed over on YouTube. But if you ever have any doubt, you need to bookmark my Subscribestar page at Subscribestar/Margo, and just come on over and check things out and see what's going on. You can also check out my website, margoshealingcorner.com, and if there's anything weird going on, I'll post it over there. And I do a lot of public posts. These are public posts that you're seeing here, and here I posted about the 6.2 earthquake off the coast of Canada last night, and then here's my post about this swarm down in Southern California. I posted this morning, or this afternoon at 12:46 this afternoon. There were 97 earthquakes so far. There's the picture. And here's a link to Dobby 7's video. about these earthquakes being near the testing range at China Lake and so on. And then I put up some private posts too, and those are for my members, and for $5 a month you can support my work, and you get an email whenever I put a post up, and you have access to everything over here on Subscribestar, public and private posts, and you're able to private message me, and you're able to, if you'd like to donate more than just the $5 a month, you're certainly welcome to do that as well. It's much appreciated, because I don't make any money off of these YouTube videos, and I feel like I'm being censored and shadow banned, and eventually channels like mine will not be on YouTube, because look at what they've done to Dutch Sense. So if you feel my work is important and you'd like to make sure and keep up with everything, Subscribestar is the way to go. So until next time, I recommend, like I said, get right with God and Jesus. What's this one that just came in? 2.1 at the geysers. So until next time, God bless you, and I'll talk to everybody real soon. I can't take a day off from this. This is too important. Things are happening too fast, and I will be reporting every day. It's up to 493 earthquakes now here, almost 500, and this started at the Kobuk Junction one was at 4:51 this morning. The Searles Valley started at 9:07 this morning. So not even 12 hours later. Not even. And here you go. Maybe everything's falling apart. 493 now. So, I love you guys, and I'm praying for everybody. God bless you. Go in peace, and good night.